Hey everyone, I don't know about you, but I have been swamped since carving jack-o'-lanterns and making treats for the kids. I always make homemade treats for my niece and nephews and cousins if they stop by. And I had a little bit of both. No nephews this year, but that's all right. Anyway, so it's been a week, well not quite a week, since then, and I have been busy cleaning the kitchen, and when I mean cleaning, I mean washing the walls and all that type of stuff. I like to wash my walls about once a season. Anyway, so, but I wanted to get something done today for a video, and I have been planning on making this one for a couple of weeks now, and I'm going to make molasses cornbread. It's election day, and you just can't get much more American than cornbread. But I like to add a couple of little things to it and change it up a bit. So let's get started, and I'll show you the ingredients. Okay, so what we have for here on the table are the ingredients. You're going to need flour, and you're going to want 1 1/4 cups of flour. And this is bread flour. You can use all-purpose flour as well, but I have a giant tub of bread flour in my pantry, but I keep a little bit on the counter in this just for quick uses. When I'm baking bread, I weigh my flour out and everything. So it's 1 1/4 cup of flour, and then you're going to want 3/4 cup of cornmeal. Okay. And then this is where I kind of eyeball this, because I'm not putting in as much sugar, but I'm out of 1/4 cups. Or smaller amounts, so I'm not quite filling this all the way full. I would say probably about 3 tablespoons, well, 4 to 6 tablespoons of sugar. It depends on how sweet you like your cornbread. And then we're going to add a tablespoon of baking powder. Now 3 teaspoons equals a tablespoon, so I'm going to, and I'm using a teaspoon right now because the tablespoon I want to use is reserved for something else. Anyway, so now we're going to mix all these together. Now that's our dry ingredients. And so now we also have 1 beaten egg, ooh, let me adjust that camera just a hair. There we go. Anyway, 1 beaten egg, 1 cup, well, what I do is I take a 1/4 cup of cream, and then I add water to it until it equals 1 cup. It makes it's richer than whole milk, but I really like that richness that it adds to it. And then I'm going to have to move this around a little bit to get it into the shot. Now I put a bowl underneath this because now I'm going to add the molasses. And I'm going to fill up this 1/4 cup with molasses. And I usually, there it is. I always keep a damp rag around when I'm working with honey and molasses or corn syrup. That way I can go ahead and just wipe it right off the jar, and it keeps it all nice and clean and non-sticky. Okay, and then we're going to add that. The reason I do that over a bowl right now is so that I don't make a huge mess. Normally I don't do that because I have the rag and the counter right there, but it also gives me a place to put it. We're also going to now add, we need we need some, well, you can use vegetable oil or you can use butter and melted butter, and I'm using the melted butter again for the richness. So you want about a 1/4 cup of that, and a 1/4 cup is going to be 4 tablespoons. And again, I'm using the tablespoon instead of the 1/4 cup simply because I needed all my 1/4 cups to measure everything else. All right, now you're going to stir this all together. Oh, I shouldn't forget the salt. And about 1/4 teaspoon of salt for most people. When it comes to cornbread, I just kind of eyeball it. And now we stir it together. Let me see if I move this out of the way. You can get a better view. And you're just going to stir it until it's mixed. It's okay if it's lumpy. You just want to make sure everything is mixed together really, really well. Okay, now I also like to add a little something else. Now, if I have green chilies, I do that. This, however, is some diced frozen bell peppers, and you could use pimentos. You could use fresh. I'm just using the diced because that's what I have available today. And that's about 1/3 cup of that, and it just neatly goes in there. Okay. Now, I want to talk a little bit about, now you can make these into muffins in a muffin tin with paper cups. You can also buy these aluminum foil cups, and they just go on a cookie sheet and they hold their shape. And those are really nice for that. However, my favorite is my cast iron skillet. Now this is about an 8 or 9 inch skillet. Now, you have to prep this a little bit. And you're going to take some vegetable oil. You don't want to use olive oil, and you don't want to use just the melted butter, because if you remember in my clarified butter video, I talked about smoke points, which is the burning point, and vegetable oil has a very high burning point compared to your butter. Now you could use a clarified butter, that would be alright. The olive oil is doable, but we're baking this at 400 degrees, so that's a pretty high temperature to be putting anything other than vegetable oil. So now we're just going to spoon that, or use a spatula and get this all into this pan. Now don't be afraid if these come out dark. That molasses will make them extra dark, but they look really beautiful. And then we just spread that around. Like so. Give it a nice little shake. Let's get all the extra in there. Alright, now this will go into a 400 degree oven for about, let me think, 20 to 25, 30 minutes. And so I'm going to put it in my oven right now. we'll check back with that when it's done. This is the finished cornbread. After the 20 minutes, I stuck a toothpick in the middle. That's this cute little hole there. And when it comes out clean, it's done. Now, to serve this, you let it cool, and then you can cut it into wedges just like you would a pie. And so that's what I'm doing. Now, I also have 3 pumpkins left from last week that will be turned into a soup and a side dish, and I'm not sure about the other one. And I also thought I'd show you my pumpkin seeds that I made from the jack-o'-lanterns, and I will most definitely be doing that with these. I simply I clean the seeds in salt water and get all the pulp off, toss them with olive oil and salt, and in this case I just used chili powder. And yummy, yummy. This was actually full a week ago. So I hope you enjoyed the cornbread. It's one of my favorite things, and yet I don't seem to make it very often, which I may remedy this winter. I have other videos planned, but in the meantime, enjoy these and have a wonderful fall.